I know something about you. You're successful on paper, you have the title, the track record, the results, and you've been the most capable person in the room for years, and the people around you know it. And you're quietly exhausted. Now, you're not burned out in a way that you can explain at a doctor's appointment, but you're exhausted in a way that lives underneath your performance, in the gap between what you produce every single day and what actually belongs to you at the end of it. And here's what I want you to really hear. You have spent years, maybe even decades, building expertise that organizations have been purchasing at a salary. And a salary is the biggest discount you will ever give anyone. Now, you probably go Google how to start a consulting business at least once, if not more. Maybe you started a document, maybe you bought a domain, maybe you've had the idea so clearly in your mind that you can name the problem, the buyer, the outcome, and then what happened? You closed the laptop and went back to work. Because maybe you were thinking the timing wasn't right. Maybe you were thinking you just needed one more year of experience. Maybe you're thinking you wasn't sure how to do it without risking everything you already built. And I want to talk to you about that gap. And not the version of the story where you quit your job and bet everything on an idea. I want to talk about the version where you are still employed, you're still performing, and you're already building something that belongs to you, where your expertise has a price tag attached to it that you set, where the next reorg, the next layoff email, the next Sunday anxiety about Monday matters less because you have somewhere to go, where you leave corporate on your own terms when you decide to leave with something waiting for you on the other side. That is what's possible, and that is what we build. And we build it with freedom as the foundation, not the reward. My name is Felicia Davis, and I spent 23 years in corporate, the last chapter as a senior HR executive. I was respected, results driven, the person people call before the hard conversations, the restructurings, the moments where organizations needed someone who could hold the room. And I was good at it. But I was also paying a price that didn't show up on any performance review. I was self-editing in rooms where my full voice would have changed everything. I was over-functioning for organizations that benefited from my expertise without ever asking me what it cost me. Then my body made a decision my mouth wouldn't. I had 2 stress-induced strokes. I had to learn how to walk, talk, and pick up the pen again. Now, that season didn't break me. It clarified something that I had been circling around for years. I mean, lots of years. The expertise I had built, the thing I had been giving away inside organizations for 23 years, was worth far more than my salary suggested. And the reason I hadn't built something with it wasn't lack of skill or readiness. It was that I did not have a framework for doing it without burning everything down first. And voice sovereignty, that wasn't a brand idea. It was a practice I rebuilt my life with. And fractional freedom is a program I wish had existed when I was sitting exactly where you are. Here's what most advice about going from corporate to consultant gets wrong. That is built for people who have already left. The frameworks assume you have time to build. The courses assume you have a runway of savings. The coaches assume your only obstacle is strategy. But let's face it, you're still in your career, you have a full-time job, a full-time life, and a nervous system that has been trained over years to manage the consequences of being too much, being too direct, or dare I say, being too expensive. So what happens when you sit down to write the outreach message? You brace. When you go to name the price, you buffer. And when you get the meeting, you over-explain. And I want to be clear that that is not a strategy problem. This is what happens when you try to build a consulting identity from a nervous system that has learned to stay small, to stay safe. And no business course that I know of addresses that. Because most business courses don't understand that the gap between a high performing corporate woman and her first consulting client is not knowledge. It's the voice that keeps disappearing at the exact moment it needs to show up. And I've watched this change. I watched a woman come into a session with an outreach message she had been sitting on for 11 days, drafted, unsent, reopened, and closed again for 11 days. And she left with something clean, specific, and ready to send. She sent it that evening, and she had a conversation within 48 hours. I watched the woman unmute herself in a room full of strangers and read her message out loud before I even asked for volunteers, and she nailed it. 5 lines, no apology at the front, and no exit ramp at the end. I watched a woman who had been giving her HR expertise away inside organizations for over 2 decades say, for the first time out loud, what she would actually charge and mean it. I watched the moment a woman stops waiting to feel ready and decides. And I bring 23 years of corporate experience to every single session. Now, not as a credential on a bio, but as the lived understanding of exactly what it costs to perform strength inside an organization that benefits from your expertise without asking what it takes out of you. I've been where you are for 23 years, and I know the road. So fractional freedom exists to do one thing, and that is to turn your corporate expertise into a consulting practice that generates consistent income at part-time hours while you're still employed without burning everything down. Just think about it, 3 to 5 consulting clients, $3,000 to $5,000 a month each, at margins that make your corporate salary look like the discount it always was. And that is the foundation. That's the result. And here's how we build it. Fractional Freedom is a 16-week private mentoring program. It's not a course, it's not a group program, it's not content that you'll watch and file away. It's private, one-to-one, built entirely around your offer, your buyer, and your timeline. And so here's how the 16 weeks are structured. The first 2 weeks, we establish your foundation. This is your freedom goal, the specific version of leverage you're building toward. Your consulting lane, that expensive problem you've been solving that the market will definitely pay for, and a compliance safe boundary statement so you can build ethically without risking what you've already built. Now, weeks 3 through 5, we build your positioning and your offer. That's your ideal buyer, specific enough to write a message to, your pilot-friendly flagship offer, your paid diagnostic, which is the fastest path to your first consulting dollar, and 2 to 3 proof stories translated from your corporate track record, not resume bullets, consulting proof. Now, weeks 6 through 10, we build your assets and your outreach, your right 25 to 50 target list, 3 clean outreach scripts, your follow-up rhythm, and then you send. We refine in real time. And week 10 is dedicated implementation and feedback session. We audit what's landing before you move into the close phase. Now, weeks 11 through 16, we build your pipeline and your close. Discoveries calls that feel like service, not selling, proposals, pilots, and the next 90-day runway so that the momentum doesn't stop at week 16. You're going to leave with something real. Positioned offer, a proof narrative, a pipeline in motion, and a voice that can hold the room in a consulting conversation. And it's not because you performed it, but because you built it. Throughout all 16 weeks, I am with you. Not a team, not a portal, me. Now, I want to be clear that fractional freedom is for you if you are done performing for algorithms. You want clients who find you because of your depth, not your follower count. You understand that the right 3 clients will change your life more than 10,000 followers ever will. You have corporate expertise worth translating, whether you're still employed, recently transitioned, or maybe you're a coach who wants to move into the corporate advisory work, right? You know what you would consult on. You can name the problem, the buyer, and the outcome. And you're done giving away your expertise for free. And I have to say this, you're not looking for permission to start. You're looking for a structure that makes starting possible without burning everything down first. You are building something that belongs to you, not something that consumes you. Now, on the other hand, fractional freedom is not for you if you want a plug and play template that requires no critical thinking. If you have no corporate background to draw from, because this program is built on translating existing expertise, not building it from scratch. If you're looking for a shortcut, there isn't one. There's a framework and there is work to be done. If you want someone to hand you a script to borrow, we build your voice here, not a borrowed one. And if you are not willing to send the message, book the call, or have the conversation. Everything we build together requires you to move. It requires you to get in action and get out of excuses. And now I'm also including something that I've never offered publicly before. Elevate the Sovereign Collective is my upcoming executive membership, and Fractional Freedom founding clients are the first women inside it. So the first 12 weeks of your enrollment include what I call Sovereign Sessions. There are 7 guided sessions covering the internal recalibration that makes everything else sustainable. Stabilization, truth, voice, presence, alignment, and sovereign integration. This is the nervous system work that most business programs skip entirely. And founding fractional freedom clients get first access before it opens to the public. Now that's not a bonus I'm throwing in. That's a founding seat at a table that doesn't exist yet for anyone else. And it's valued at $2,000 and it's yours included. Now, fractional freedom is $3,500 paid in full or $895 over 4 payments. And I work with no more than 5 private clients at a time, anywhere from 3 to 5. And that number is not a marketing device. It is the actual capacity that allows me to be fully present with every woman I work with. When the spot is open, it's genuinely open. And when it's full, the wait is real. So you have 2 ways to move forward from here. Now, if you're not yet ready for a 16-week private commitment, start with the Fractional Freedom Fast Track. It's 3 private podcast episodes, 3 companion worksheets where you work on your consulting lane, your clean message, and your first move in 1 weekend. It's $97 and the link is below. But if you are ready for the full bill, the next step is a fit conversation. We're going to spend about an hour together. And this is not a sales call. It's 2 people figuring out honestly whether this is the right move for you at this stage. And if it is, I will tell you that directly and we'll talk about how to get started. Also, if it isn't, I will tell you that too and point you toward what might serve you better right now. But either way, you walk away with more clarity than you arrived with, which is so very important because clarity is the first thing. And I just want to say one more thing before I ask you to take that next step. The women who build consulting leverage are not more talented than women who stall. They are not braver. They are not more ready. They made a decision on a Tuesday without an audience and without certainty. They decided that the expertise that they had built, the thing they had been giving away for years, was worth building something with, something of their own. And that decision is available to you right now. Not after 1 more year, not after the next performance review, not after you feel ready, right now. So if that's landing, the links are below and I'll see you there.